Hello, my name is Andrew Kelly. This is a working session in the video editing section of my channel, The Real Andrew Kelly. And this, I'm going to start a series of working sessions that have to do with effects on Kdenlive. I have been using some effects effectively in producing these chapters, but I've realized for a while that I need to broaden those horizons by quite a bit because I haven't really delved into. There are so many effects and they do so many things, and some of them are completely useless as far as I'm concerned, but I know that many of them are very useful. And also it has to do with how to handle video clips in the workspace, what to do, what not to do, etc. So this first chapter in that series is going to cover um, the setup of a basic setup from which all other clips, sessions in this area of effects are going to spring from. So it's basically a webcam image of me with a background video, so two video tracks and no audio tracks. The webcam image of me has to do with something completely unrelated, but we don't need audio for this since I'm not getting into audio effects immediately. Um, I'm focusing on video. So this is going to cover the transforms effect, the crop, mask, blurring, time frames. I love time frames. Uh, in We'll get into that, of course. And so I'm going to start with Kdenlive right here. I did bring with me. Oh, there we go. Here's the webcam that's running right now as I'm making this session, but it's going to be obscure most of the time. Because we need, well, here's a still photo of me if you want. Sorry. One is I need to display all of Kdenlive during this session, and B, this way I can have a cigarette and nobody notices. Um, I can tell that there'll be some heavy editing of this video clip before I publish it. Okay, so what I've prepared here are two tracks. So this is a Kdenlive project that I just created. I've checked already the Kdenlive settings. We don't have to go through all that again. Um, the monitors, the project settings. Let's make this a bit bigger. The usual 1080p, 30 FPS, frames per second. The project folder will be in my video directory. It starts with 3 audio, 3 video tracks. We won't need most of them. We just need 1 video, 1 audio, and maybe another video. We shall see. Metadata, this is the name of the project as I chose it now. And this is for the initial setup. And so what that means is that as I release or upload more videos in the area of Kdenlive effects, at least in the beginning, first 2-3 chapters, the setup that we work on in this session will serve as the basis for additional incremental sessions that I create, so we don't have to waste time on creating a basic setup, which it does take some minutes, especially for me, if you've seen any of my videos before. So then the project files, not interesting because I'm not involving you with, let me press OK here. I'm not really involving you, the audience or participants, hopefully, in how we got here. What's important is take a look at this. I have two clips in the project workspace, and I'm using the effects setup here. It took me a while to realize that each one of these is simply a rearranging of panels. On the Kdenlive window that help focus on the area of interest. In this case, effects. And what that means is that what was over here once is going to show up over here, and we'll see that in a moment. And the project bin, actually not very interesting. It's got some original files from which I stole the video of this guy and the background over here, and the original video stream was from the webcam recorded by Kazam. It's one of the options I have to go through to tell you that I'm not using it, which is I use the MPV utility in order to play the video stream that I get from my phone, which acts as the camera. And what I get is something long like this. I think it's around 1080 pixels wide, and as long, I've seen it various lengths, but the point is I zoom to the proportion that I want this image to be, and then we crop the rest, and you'll see that in our exercise today. So in any case, the top video in the video stack on the workspace, if you see here on the left, video 1, I'm going to disable it for a moment, and what I get basically is video 2, which is this one. I'm gonna disable it so you see the difference. It's basically black screen, and then what's gonna happen here, I'll just play a few frames here. This guy talking his head off. And so the basic setup in this case would be taking this image and moving it somewhere over here, and let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So I'm going to move it somewhere over here, make it a bit smaller, crop the top, crop the bottom, not much on the left or the right, maybe blur the edges a little, and then together with the second video tracks, which is lower below this track, is this track, which is not visible, and now it's visible. And because it's lower in the stack, this stream over here basically overrides what's under it in the lower videos. Could be 1, could be 10. Good luck if it's 10. I think you know what I mean. So at this point, let's start. And as I go into it, I will make mention of things that I've learned about Kdenlive, which I had not known before. There are quite a few of those that I've not known, that I still don't know, which is why we're here. At least that's why I'm making this video. I hope you are start at just the right level of not knowing what the hell's going on, because then my journey through all this might be helpful. If not, might be a waste of time, so don't waste your time. You could still look at the video if you want to have a good laugh. Still, okay. Onwards and upwards. So let me go to the beginning of the workspace. Yeah, this is the workspace. This is the video from the webcam. This is, oh, there's two of them, and they're grouped together, and that's why it doesn't want to move. Fine. Let me make the zoom out a little so it all fits in one place. There we go. So this single video clip is about 3.5 minutes long. I don't think that to do what we're doing here we need more than 1 or 2 minutes. So never mind that, but at least there's some elbow room so we can get some stuff done. And the background is just it's literally background noise. I mean, if I run it, you'll see over here, there's a fire there. I combined like 3 different images just to make a background. It serves no other purpose here. So as this goes on, if I enable the webcam strip clip, I don't know what I think I'm doing there. Oh, it's me trying to form a sentence. Sorry. All right. See, you knew this was going to be fun. Let's stop right there. So, the first thing I'm going to do, hold on, I'm going to cough for a moment. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know if I didn't smoke as much, I wouldn't cough as much, which is true. But then I wouldn't have so much fun. Let's move this guy over here somewhere. And to do that, I'm going to use transform. The thing with Kdenlive is that there are many effects that can accomplish that in the process of configuring the effect. You can accomplish things like not only transform, not only move it, you can scale it, you can crop it, but they don't all do everything that I want done. So I have like a layer of effects, and I kind of almost automatically use them because I find them so useful. So enough said about that. Let's focus on this. This is this video, and I'm going to find transform here. This is the effects. The way you get there, by the way, usually you might be used to having project bin over here on the left, and you'd get this list of files from here over here, and this is the preview pane for the video clips that are in the project bin. But this layout is different. The project bin is, I don't need it to complete this particular session. And conveniently enough, when I choose the effects view, it's a specific view configuration of the panels in Kdenlive. I get a nice big effects window here, not the tiny one that usually exists down here. And I can do a nice easy search. And here's transform. I can see the conversation about keyframes coming up right now. I'm going to highlight it and drag it onto the video clip that I want to use it in. I'm not going to explain keyframes. For one, I'm willing to bet that many of you have used other video editing tools, and you already know what keyframes are, even if they exist by another name. It's basically, if you take this, look at the nice frame we got. If you take this snapshot of what's going on the screen at a particular point in the timeline here, and you create a keyframe, it becomes like an anchor. So at this point, Kdenlive will know that as it gets to it, left to right through here, by the time that it gets to the keyframe that got created, it has to appear in this new way, not in the current way. And some of the keyframes and some of the effects that can be used with keyframes, the effect of the keyframe having been configured once on the timeline where the video is playing, you don't need other keyframes to be created, because the system does that for you. There's, for many of the effects that are keyframe enabled, and this includes things like volume, certain types of cropping, and there's lots of things you can do with it, and keyframes are basically the anchors. You can create many keyframes along a timeline, and each one of them can be specific to the effect. So if you have a stack of effects for a particular video clip, they all take effect with the top keyframe, the top effect in the stack, affecting all the effects below it. And I sincerely hope I didn't get that backwards. We shall see. I'll check it and I'll make a correction if I was wrong, if it goes exactly the other way. But I believe that's the way it goes. So that's just a general statement about keyframes. For now, we're just going to start using them, and my belief is, as you see me using the keyframe, it kind of becomes, oh, well, of course, it's obvious. I'm hoping that that click happens in your minds. If not, leave me a comment with a question. Probably give me a reason to create another one of my very short videos. So, all right. What do we have here? This effect, the transform effect, which is keyframeable, obviously. You can see there's one that's been created already. Most of the time, the first one in the video clip that you're working on will be created automatically, but we're not there. We're, half a minute into the clip, and it doesn't matter. What I want to create here is I want to create, let's see, I want to make this smaller, and I want to move it to the right by a little bit. And so for what I'm doing now, that's all I'm going to do. Now, you have these handy dandy little controls here. You have more additional configurations you can make here, and I'm just going to focus on the ones I'm using. For two reasons. One is, quite possible the ones I'm not using, I have no idea what they do. Second is, let's just get focused and get something done, and let everything else fall out of that. So I'm here about 30 seconds in. I'm not making a keyframe here. Um, we'll see. I might have to, but I don't think so. All I'm going to do is look at this. This is the center. Let me obscure this for a moment, but I'm willing to bet you it's not going to stay. Yeah, okay. Where my face is, and I'll re-enable it in a moment, this is the center. So everything that has some sort of measurement away from something, it'll be from this center. Or you can click that off. I'm not familiar with, hold on, first of all, let me re-enable that thing. So this is the center. Uh, I am not too familiar with, rotation is rotation. And I don't want to digress here. There's a lot to be said about it, but for now, I really need to focus on moving this to the right and making it a bit smaller. So, look at this. The size is 100%. Opacity is 100%. And I'll just go over that quickly. If the opacity were 40%, okay, Andrew, learn to click and drag. This is 40%. I'll hit the tab to enable it. See, it's fading out. Fine, we don't want that. So this is 100%, that's the opacity. The size is something that I want to change because I don't want this whole thing showing. There's no need for it, and if you see it when it's displayed on YouTube, you'll figure out that I am working in a camper. Yes, I am. So I'm gonna change this to, let's say 90%, and watch over here as this gets smaller. So you see, I could have also made this smaller like this. I'm gonna make it much bigger, and then I could have moved, if I remember the center is here, I could have moved it this way or that way, but that's not what I intend to do. Just want to familiarize you with the controls, and let's just, haha, Andrew, you are so silly. The easiest thing to do, by the way, is simply going to remove it and put in a new one. There we go. Now it's like I've done absolutely nothing. So what I like to do is, rather than fiddling around with the numbers here, I'm leaving the rotation at 0. If you want to rotate and have me sideways, you can do that on your own time. If I ever... Okay, no more jokes. All right. Just to play on the safe side here, I'm going to press these tiny little controls here are very important for this timeline. This is where the keyframes are configured. This, go to previous keyframe, click on that, and select the actual keyframe, and there is an actual keyframe here. I can just make the initial configuration of the video right here. And so for this, I'm basically going to bring it down a little. Actually, not by much, because I am going to crop this, and then I take the whole thing and I put it where I want it. And let's say it's over here. And I will demonstrate what that does in a moment. What we have here is the initial keyframe, and it's already set with the configuration that I want for it. It's offset from X by 599. It's offset from Y by 30. This is the width. Oh, very important. The transform effect works on the whole video image. In other words, when I make it smaller, I'm not just making my face smaller, I'm making the whole thing smaller. And so that's why I could only decrease it by a few percent, because it would have made it too scaled down, too small, my image. But we're at the very first keyframe, and what I'm going to do here, this is previous keyframe, create or delete a keyframe, go to the next keyframe, move to cursor. The next one is copy the keyframe, which is what I want to do. I want to copy it. And now I'm going to go to the next keyframe, and I happen to know that that's all the way at the very end of the video. You can see it here on the timeline. By the way, this white pointer, the white triangle, is completely synchronized with the pointer here. And you can always see, if this is visible, you will always see where it is according to what you set here. However, right now I want to create a keyframe. Add one, yes. And we're focused over here. And what we are going to do, I think I don't have to paste it. I think it's already set with the previous keyframe, which was the first one. But me being so paranoid, I'm going to just paste what I have here, which is the same. Now, here's a demonstration of what we've accomplished here. As you start from here, and we play the clip, notice I'm here and I stay here. And the reason I stay here is because there's no change required for this keyframe that's highlighted in blue right here. Because that is both the initial state of the image in the video stream as well as the final state. Now, however, if I were to, where are we? Oh yes, I need to stop. That's down here. Just pause. I'm going to move this to the left, and notice as I move this to the left and right, this pointer and this pointer and this pointer are all synchronized with it. It gets a little more complex to understand the rules for how to move these pointers around if you have other video clips in the workspace and you say get me to the next keyframe, and it can't always guess which one and which clip you want to focus on. We're going to create a keyframe right here, and yes, I will delete it later, but let's add a keyframe. Okay, this I want it to be 20% opaque. I want the size to be 20% or so. I don't care. Now, somewhere here, and so I'm telling Kdenlive that at this point that image that we were focusing on is going to be right here. And because it's so opaque, you know what, I'll bring the opacity up a little bit so just so you see what's going on. There we go, there's my face over there. And I also wanted to move over here. One of the things that I can also do is protect the, by default, the aspect ratio is protected. I could distort it by making it very, by turning off the protection, I can actually distort it, but I don't want to do that right now. Let's just play this and see what happens. So I bring it to the first, and you notice it's about to go in this direction over here and change the size. Let's play. So this is what keyframes are good for. With the center point being perfectly aligned most of the time with my right eye or the nose, the bridge of the left eye. See? That's keyframes. However, we've changed our minds, so I come over here and we want to remove this new thing. I can... He's still playing. Why is he playing? Oh, now he's going back. Because the last keyframe was at the initial position, same thing. So now, but he's going much slower because this keyframe is so much closer to the beginning of the video clip. So the rest of the video, which is another couple of minutes, he'll take his time going back here. But let's pause him. And this time I mean pause. Okay. So I come here. I tell him delete keyframe. The same one where you add a keyframe when there's no keyframe there is the one where you delete it. Delete. Gone. So now if we start from the beginning or from anywhere in the middle of the video clip, and I'm going to pause it here, move him over here, you'll see it's the very same size. Okay, so this is the first thing that I want to do with this clip. Moving right along. The next thing that I want to do is I want to clip it around here and a little bit from here, a very tiny little bit, and a little bit from here, which will make this whole image appear smaller, but the size and proportions of what's inside do not change. And for that, we go look for crop. There are more effects that can crop, but they're not necessarily labeled as such in their name. This is what I have tended to use so far, and simply going to drag it onto... Is this video? No, it's not. It is not disabled. Okay, I'm just going to take crop by padding and add it here, and it comes in below the transform layer, which means transform takes effect first, then as it goes down the stack, crop by padding. Now, since we have limited space here, I'm going to minimize this. It's still in effect, there's no changes, and we're going to do crop by padding, which just happens to be the name of the effect. Now, I need to bring this back just so that you see. You see crop by padding is over here, below transform. And as I go to each one of them, they get highlighted or not depending on where I click the mouse. Or, oh, I haven't actually dragged. Have I dragged? Yes, I have. Never mind. Notice that this has its own keyframes. That in order to match what this effect does with what this effect does, all the keyframes that exist in the middle have to match. For example, if I had a keyframe here, I would have to highlight it, like right there, and then go down here and add, not quite, I actually think I know why it's not highlighted, but this'll change in a moment. Basically come down here and to crop by padding, and I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, and oh, interesting. Alright, sorry about that. I'm basically, if there were a keyframe here, and I would want to do something that's appropriate and matching to what this keyframe does for transform. When I move this around, you'll notice it moves this around too. It's the pointer to where in the timeline I am, and we basically come here and create a keyframe, add a keyframe, and then do to it whatever is appropriate, and you'll see in a moment what that looks like. One last thing before I actually do something with this keyframe, with this effect, sorry. This color, you see the color picker here, is what you want the padding color to be. And I just hit escape key in order to turn off the color picker, looking for something for me to click on. Over here, what I want to do is I want to select the padding color. Right now it's set to transparent. Let's say I picked red. Select. Now this of course obscures the very nice background I picked for this video. So I'm going to take it back now and double click on the color, and over here under custom you have the color picker that allows you to do it by color. This is what's called the alpha channel, this sliding bar here, and basically anywhere on this, doesn't matter where, you slide this all the way to the left and you are transparent. That's what I wanted to show you. Select, and look at that, we are transparent. Okay, so let's go to the effect that we want to set up for crop by padding. We've got the correct video clip selected in the workspace. We've got the initial keyframe over here at the beginning of the video, and basically what I want to do is crop. Now where's the transform frame when it was here? If you change the size, everything is scaled down. Crop works completely differently, of course, and let's pick the left side. And what's helpful here is to remember that transform has precedence in terms of the effect, and so what you want to crop had better be after transform has been applied. That's exactly what we're going to do. We grab that, we bring it here. You notice the image inside is not being scaled down, not at all. And I want to be a little bit, and it's basically removing the edges, and it's padding the rest of the video that's visible under this layer. We can see it because the padding is transparent, which was the whole point of that last couple of minutes, which I delivered badly. So forgive me for that. I'm gonna make this, yeah, that's not gonna work because this thing pops up, so I can move it to the left side, which is very considerate of these guys. Alright, move this to the left, and this is about right here. And the idea is I would then do some blurring over here, and we're done with today's exercise. But not yet. We still have another effect to go through. A couple of other effects. Okay. So having done that, basically what I like to do, and I know that this can be allowed to default, since I'm not going to move this anymore in the clip, it can sort of imply that this shall remain the same to the end of the clip. I prefer to actually be explicit about it, and I suspect that I might be in the minority for doing this, but it's just a matter of preference, I guess. We're at the, now remember, transform has its own keyframes, one at the beginning, one at the end. So what I can do here, basically, I will copy this, copy keyframe, click. Alright, so I've copied the current state configuration of this. I'm going to then use this keyframe, focus it here, and that is in the transform. But look at what we have here. So I'm going to bring the focus here. I'm going to add a keyframe, and I believe this is identical to the other one. Let's just double check. Go to 1201, 185, 606, go to the previous keyframe, and there. So both keyframes, the start configuration and the end configuration, give us a well-defined, and give Kdenlive a well-defined frame within which to effect changes. And as we said before, first the top effect takes effect, then the next effect down, which is crop by padding. Couple of notes. I think this, yeah, in this effect, you notice the edges here, they become rounded. Some people like that. In other words, the transparent padding for the rest of the image, as the MP4 file goes along frame by frame, so the rest of this frame, it was relying on this rectangle to tell it where the edge is for this image. this circle that we're playing with, that I'm playing with right now, can give us slightly rounded edges here. I don't know if you can tell. This is rounded, this is rounded, this is rounded, this is rounded. So that's 0.32. Basically, by playing with it, you can see if it looks good. I actually kind of like this. And what else can we do here? The size here is the size of this frame. It's in the transform. Size 93% is for the whole size of the whole frame. In crop, in this particular crop effect, the size is a percentage of the whole frame, because it's basically, the rest of it is, you see what's in the layer below. And is there anything, I've already shown you the padding color, how that can be modified. The circle here is for, not sure what, it's for the rotation. No? Yes. I'm not sure. The rotation here is for the transform. So let's leave that alone for now and move on to the next effect that I want to apply here, which would be the alpha blend. I don't remember the alpha mask and keying. This introduces a ton of options, not all of which I'm familiar with. I'm going to bring alpha shapes in and probably wind up waving my hands. Actually, I'm not. I just noticed here, what is he doing? Oh. I'm not sure. Oh, haha, this is funny. The circle that I applied, I only applied it to one. Okay, here's what prompted me. This, now look at the bottom part of the workspace, the workspace, which is in the bottom part of the frame. When you see a color like that with a red dot, that means that there's a keyframe here which is doing something. And the reason why it's slowly decreasing to nothing is because the keyframe here does not match it. So what I have to do here, before I do anything else, is copy it, so I can paste it at the end. Here, copy keyframe, move it to the end, and here I simply do a paste. And when I do the paste, see how this changes. It'll become a parallel even line all the way to the end. Should be. I hope so. Okay, where's my paste? Paste keyframes. See? There we go. Now these circular edges to the image are always going to be, well, for the duration of the 3.5, 4 minutes that the clip is going to run. Okay, now let's go to alpha shapes and mask and drag it down here. And I am not that familiar with it, so you could watch me bumble around. It's a rectangle right on clear. I'm not sure what that is, but it does have time frames. Excuse me, keyframes, which means it is keyframeable. Now, since I've played with this already, let's just find my image. There we go. See, there he is. We didn't really make him disappear. What I like about this, so I'm kind of cropping a little bit, What I like about this, and I don't have the logic to explain it yet, which the old RTFM rule might come in handy here. Read the you-know-what manual, and I haven't done that yet. This creates sort of like this shadow around the edges, which obscures a lot of the detail of my camper. And I'm going to pull it all, and I'm not sure why, but I like it, so I've used it. And here at the very end of our video, I simply, on the alpha shapes mask, I simply create a keyframe. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to dump it in the beginning here. I know I say here and there like I've got a pointer pointing at the screen and you can actually see it. My apologies. Where's my copy? There's copy keyframes. I copy this. I come to the first initial one and I paste. Although it's weird because I don't think I have to paste it. I think it's there already. But let me make sure. Alright, where are you, Andrew? Copy, paste, paste, no change. Okay, good. Now, in order to get rid of the annoying thing, just click somewhere where there's no keyframes and then go to the beginning. Oh, this reddish mask here. Let's work on that a little bit. So we come back here to the effects. I will make the effect a little smaller. First of all, it's all at the beginning. So why is it all over here on the right? Because that's the last thing I changed. So let's bring it to the beginning. So that is the wrong effect, my dear. Okay, sorry about that. There we are. Now, when it started playing here, it looked to me like there was... Oh, I see what he's doing. So I think I have to bring down the size, both X and Y, because it looks like as it's going through doing the calculations to show all these effects, it might be missing by a pixel to the left or a pixel to the right, so let me do that. We're here and we're simply in crop by padding, is that right? That is right, okay. We're at the initial one. No, we're not at crop by padding. We are down here. Alpha shapes, okay. This I shall make a little smaller. And this I shall make a little smaller. Okay, now I'm going to copy it. Copy. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste it. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do at this point in time is save the project. It's got a name already, so That's all part of my setup before I started the video. I'm going to bring us to somewhere around here, which is at the beginning, and let's see what it looks like. So the only objectives that I had here was to have the oh look, somebody joined us. Basically to have my image occupy some space over here, and then whatever I needed to do over here I would do over here. And I kind of like this. I think slightly more rounded corners would be nicer, but this does bring us to the end of let's hold on, let's okay, Andrew, come back. Haha. I am going to edit out some of the dithering around that I did, kind of not being sure on how to do some things. But this brings us to the end of the process for producing an MP4 using a Kdenlive project where you've got at least one video, one audio track, and you have these effects that can actually give us the basis to develop additional sessions around the subject, the topic of effects. And I thank you very much for being here. I did enjoy making this video, and you can watch me turn Kazam off yet one more time. Bye. Okay, turn it off. Yes, I